Every night at exactly 9:17 p.m., little Daniel sat on the last step of the apartment staircase, hugging his knees tightly. His eyes were fixed on the narrow road below, as if sheer hope could pull someone back into existence. You see, 9:17 was the time his parents had promised they would return. It was the moment they had waved goodbye, smiling, saying, "Wait for us, Danny. We'll be back before it gets dark." And Daniel believed promises the way only children do, with his whole heart and without a single doubt. He was 6 years old then, small enough that his feet didn't touch the ground when he sat. Small enough to think that love could bend time. The neighbors knew Daniel well. They'd pass him every evening carrying groceries or returning from work, always sitting in the same place, always waiting. "Your parents are late again," they would ask gently. Daniel would just nod and smile politely. "It's okay, they're coming." His parents had gone out one rainy evening to attend a distant wedding, leaving Daniel with a neighbor for dinner, promising it would only be a few hours. But there had been an accident on the highway metal, crushing metal, rain-blurring headlights, and promises dissolving into silence. No one ever sat Daniel down to explain it fully. Adults spoke in soft voices behind closed doors, thinking quiet would protect him, but silence only fed his waiting. That first night, when no one came for him, he cried himself to sleep on the staircase, believing maybe they were just stuck in traffic. The second night, he waited again. The third night, too. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Daniel never missed a single evening. At 9:17 p.m., he would leave whatever he was doing, climb down the stairs, and sit with that same patient hope. Sometimes he imagined the sound of footsteps or a familiar laugh in the distance. Sometimes he practiced what he would say when they finally returned. "You were late," he'd tell them, not angry, just relieved. His aunt took him in, a kind woman who tried her best. She cooked his favorite meals and tucked him into bed, but she could never convince him to stop waiting. "Danny," she would whisper, brushing his hair, "they love you very much." Daniel would nod. "That's why they'll come back." Each night, as the streetlights flickered on, Daniel sat with his small jacket wrapped tightly around him, guarding against both cold and disappointment. He watched families walk past together, holding hands, laughing, while his own world remained paused in that one single moment. Years passed, and Daniel grew taller. His knees no longer fit neatly against his chest, but he still sat on that step. The neighbors changed, the seasons changed, but his waiting didn't. At school, he was quiet, thoughtful, a boy who listened more than he spoke. He never talked about his parents, not because he forgot them, but because speaking their absence felt like betraying the hope that kept them alive inside him. On his 12th birthday, his aunt gently said, "Daniel, maybe tonight you should stay inside. It's cold." Daniel just shook his head. "They wouldn't like it if I wasn't there when they came." On his 16th birthday, he still walked down the stairs at 9:17. And then one evening, many years later, something changed. Daniel, now a young man, sat alone as usual when a small boy from the building stopped in front of him. "Who are you waiting for?" the boy asked innocently. Daniel opened his mouth to answer, and for the first time, no words came. He looked down the road, the same road he had watched for more than a decade, and finally understood what his heart had been protecting him from. They weren't coming back, not because they didn't love him, but because some goodbyes arrive without warning and never get undone. That night, Daniel stood up slowly, his legs shaking not from cold, but from the truth. He looked at the road one last time, whispered, "I waited," and walked back upstairs. He still missed them. He always would, but he no longer waited, because sometimes love doesn't return in the form we expect. Sometimes it stays as a memory, a promise that shaped us, a strength built from longing. And even when people don't come back, the love they leave behind teaches us how to keep going. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.